My mailbox here. I don't know what's going on with postal service, internal postal service. They used to work really rapidly and quickly. And when I deposited them, within 48 hours to get back. This time something happened, and I think West will call postal service to track the status of the schedule. This is very weird. But actually, we were able to post the grade yesterday, so in the morning, so you should be able to access your grade. Okay. And so far, I think our average altogether lab and everything, class average is 81.2. So I guess you guys are doing obviously excellent. Some of them are almost 100, I know, because of the lab and because of some extra points and things like that. So, yeah, keep doing well. So today, we are going to talk about acting. The rest of the slides are particularly about acting, related practice. And I know some of you had a little bit of having difficulty understanding critical concentration. I was able to find a 1 minute, I think it's about 1 minute YouTube that actually illustrated actin polymerization. Okay? That actually indicated some important terms, but not, there's no narration. So I think I want to explain what they really want to show. So here you have actin, monometic actin is global, and they're able to associate with ATP. You see the yellow portion, and they're able to nucleate, making nucleus, right? Consisting of 3 or 4 monomers. One end we call positive, one end is negative. And now, if you have a lot of actin monomers available, then actins are associated in existing nucleus. And as you see, the positive end grow faster, or say rapidly. And positive end, you have a more ATP bound actin, negative end, you have a more ADP bound actin. So now what they want to show you, steady state. At steady state, the concentration of actin monomer pool doesn't change. Concentration of monomer doesn't change because addition and dissociation is balanced. So that concentration of actin where the steady state is maintained is critical concentration. Now this is below critical concentration. What happens is that actins are dissociated. At positive end, critical concentration is 0.12 micromole, and negative end, critical concentration is 0.6 mole, or 0.6 micromole. So I talked about this kind of stuff last time. And if you Google search, there are a lot of similar videos like this. You can study a little more in depth. And then this is the slide that we are almost about to stop. And I said, oh, what if if you provided G-actin concentration between 2 critical concentrations? Critical concentration positive, critical concentration of negative. Here we have negative 0.6, positive 0.12. So you provide certain amount, such as 0.4, 0.5 micro of actin monomers. What happened? At positive side, here, positive end will go bound end, there's addition occur. And negative end dissociation occur. As a result, monomers attached to the positive end actually experience treadmill effect. Right? Eventually, this monomers added here earlier will be exposed to the negative end. They undergo dissociation. Right? That kind of things happen. So treadmill things happen. And I said that at positive end, you have more ATP bound actin, energetic actin associated over time. They undergo hydrolysis into ADP phosphate, and phosphate will be released, and then ADP bound. So you see, as you go to the negative end, you see more ADP bound. Right? So that's what we talk about. Okay. Now today we want to talk about. So far we focusing quite a bit of in vitro situation. So in vitro situation, test tube where you have actin monomers existing, right? Then actin are self-assembled. That's what we're talking about. But now we're going to go into the in vivo system. Well, our life is much more complex than in vitro system, test tube system. So you want to understand real situation. It's happening inside the cell. Now, from now on, you have to type your values. Okay. So, think about this. In vitro system, the monomer actin pool would be around 0.12, actually realistically 0.12 because that concentration is identical to critical concentration of positive ion, 0.112 in vitro system. So no matter how much, highly, active concentration is elevated, almost all times, actin monomers are associated making polymers, and then your monomer pool is about 0.12 micromole because of a positive end is 1.2 micromole, right? In vitro system. But how about in vivo? In vivo, based on scientists' calculation, total actin is around 5 millimole. 5 millimole. So then you think of, okay, so in vivo would be similar to in vitro, so that you might have almost all monomers are associated together to form filament, and then only have 0.12 micromole of monomers. Originally, scientists thought that, but actually found out that monomer pool actually is about 10 to 50 micromole, so which is about 100 to 500 times more concentrated than they expected. What that means? What that means? That's the question. Why actin monomer pool is that high? 500-fold high. Or again, I said this is in vivo situation. There must be a lot of actin regulatory factors that somehow working for maintaining relatively high, or I said extremely high concentration of actin monomers. There are certain regulators maintaining this high pool concentration. So I said some kind of a discrepancy, but it's not realistically discrepancy. So let's think about, yeah.
Does that mean there's no association going on in vivo?
Yeah, thank you. I think you already spoiled my,
Oh,
thank you very much. But the story is like this. You see the diagram right there? Actually, this is, I think, 30-second movie, okay? You see that there are a lot of, as she said, a lot of monomers of actins are known to interact with some, actin monomer binding protein, such as here, thymosin beta, or full name is beta, or because there's beta 1, beta 2, beta, particularly thymosin beta 4. See the purple thing here? They're able to interact with actin monomer and then sequester actin from forming poly. So keep actin monomers from polymerizing. That's what thymosin beta 4 does. And profilin that you see here right there, the yellow guy, this is also actin monomer binding protein, but this guy is implicated in facilitating actin polymerization. You will see soon. And then you have capping protein, you will see right there, this guy, tetracycline carrying. This capping protein is stimulate depolymerization. You want to see? Okay. About 30 seconds. So there are a lot of actin monomers, right? Now let's look at a little bit more detail. Now you see thymosin beta 4 profilin, and then capping protein. There are 3 components, and then let's see what happens. You see nucleus, and then capping protein interacted right there. Cap the nucleus, and see what happens. Dissociated, right? So it causes depolymerization. And then now profilin and thymosin bound actins. Again, polymerization occur right there from nuclei, and then profilin, the yellow guy, guide actin monomers to attach to existing nucleus or nuclei. And then polymerization cap dissociation. So that's what, how the monomer pool is, monomer concentration pool is highly elevated and maintained. So this is actually the diagram that came from the textbook. Here, thymos and beta-4, they interact with the actin monomer and sequester, and it inhibits the polymerization. But if you're looking at here, profilin is like a crescent shape of protein. They interact with actin, and they actually replacing ADP bound ADP with ATP. See the D and B. So it's we call adenine nucleotide exchange factor. We talk about many cases guanine nucleotide exchange factor so far. This is adenine nucleotide exchange factor. So ADP replaced by ATP, so that energetic ATP bound actin is recruited to the positive end and polymerized. So, and then as you, capping protein is not shown here though. But one more protein that I want to introduce you is covalent. All the proteins ending with I in almost all cases, right? Actin, profilin. Yeah. So covalent is a protein that is participating in severing or cutting these actin filament. Particularly, they recognize ADP portion of actin and then cut it. CD protein. Cut them and do that. There's another protein that cut this actin filament that bound by ADP that we call gelsolin, Gelsolin, and actually that gelsolin names are appearing probably 5 to 6 slides later. Okay? So those proteins are separate. So you know that a lot of proteins are participating in breaking down of actin filament and polymerization of actin filament, and also for sequestering of actin monomers. But the most important protein implicated in sequestering actin monomers so that maintaining high concentration of actin monomer pool is thymosin beta-4. Right? So you got that. So now, okay, think about this. Or these all kind of actin polymerization and depolymerization mediated by profilin and all other proteins that we so far we discussed are actually under the control of a signal transduction pathway in big picture. See that many signal transduction pathways that are activated or deactivated by signal coming from external or internal cue that regulating this actin reorganization, meaning polymerization and depolymerization. Right? So one of the best well-known examples is this, like in the presence of a chemokine. Chemokines are chemicals that actually attracting the migrating cell. So that cells are responding to those chemicals and then, performing chemotaxis. You heard of this. Chemotaxis is basically cell migration toward the growth, the certain material that are attracting the cell. Right? This is one of the simplest examples that I think of. So signaling molecule is chemokine, and then you have receptor molecule on the membrane, and then signal cascade that we discussed in chapter 14 and 15. Similar kind of cascades occur, and then cell, they do 4-step, right? Protrusion, attachment, translocation, detachment. 4-stepwise process, just basically crawling and crawling and crawling. That happens. So, so now in order to move forward, right? In order to move forward the response to the chemokine, what you have to do, you have to produce protrusive bodies, such as filopodia, spike-like structure, or lamellipore, or at the same time, both of them should be produced and moving forward. And this production of a protrusion, or I would say that protrusion-mediated movement forward, are all requiring actin polymerization. Because actin should be polymerized to make a elongated structure of a filopodia, elongated structure of a lamellipodia. It's all requiring actin polymerization. From now on, I'll talk about some key factors that are involved in making filopodia and also lamellipodia. So let's talk about what are the key factors that involve in forming a filopodia first. So if you're looking at the diagram, next diagram that you have, it's like highly complicated, extremely highly complicated. But let's keep in mind that we're talking about signal transduction pathways. Signal transduction pathway that is involving production of filopodia. And all story short, I think you want to know the protein name. The protein name that you want to know is formin, F-O-R-M-I-N, formin. This is a protein ending with IN, right? Formin is a protein, actually that has multi-domain structure. So RBD domain F, H1 domain, FH2 domain. Don't worry about that, you don't need to memorize this. But formin, they can dimerize. So that they making, see that FH2 domain can dimerize, and then they making ring, flexible ring-like structure. So between two half circle, there is a flexible region. You see that flexible region that are connected by solid domain of FH2. And then what they do here is that they, as a dimer, structure dimer, the ring formed by dimer, this ring can interact with positive end. Obviously, we can think about positive end as positive end of actin filament, right there. And then you know what they do? They do seesaw game. We call it seesaw game. So one side up, what happens? You're generating a physical gap to which actin monomers are recruited. And then the next part of the ring will be elevated, and then physical gap is created, and then now new monomers are added. So in that way, actin polymerization occurs. Okay? So, but one thing that actually you have to connect it here. Formin is the major protein that participates in polymerization of this actin filament, right? That's one of the most important things. But this formin, you see that this formin protein is activated by G protein, we call Rho. So you might want to connect here a signal transduction pathway. You say Rho, formin, and then actin polymerization, and then what happens? Philopodia is formed. That's how the signal transduction is connected. Right? So that cell motility. Okay. So, if you're looking at it, this is again 30-second illustration. So, as you see, that formin is coming ring structure dimer, and they interact with the positive end, and there's another two domains. They grab the actin monomers and they do seesaw game, adding on actin monomers. Eventually, they're growing, eventually like that. So this is positive and this is negative end. In vitro system, you're not having formin, so that they grow spontaneously but relatively slow. But here, with the presence of this formula, we call actin presence of actin nucleated, now you get much quickly actin gets polymerized. Now, so we talk about forming like this. Though it's really complicated, but you get that. You can understand this. The next one that I want to move on is, now we want to talk about lamellipodia, right? How lamellipodia is produced. So now what you expecting? Of course, actin polymerization. What factor is coming? ARP23. So we call actin-related protein 2/3. And then here we have signal, CDC42. CDC42. And one thing you want to jot down here, not only ARP23, we call WASP. It's not the E, but the protein name WASP. So that's actually the full diagram. But this is happening at the lamellipodia. Lamellipodia is wide, protrusive body. You have a lot of branched actin network instead of having bundles of actin filaments. See that? A lot of network branched actin filaments are forming. But the fundamental basic is though, you have an actin filament here right there. So after 3 complex actin-related protein, they act, basically the structure-wise, they are very much related to the structure of actin monomers. So that actin 2,3 complex, they are associated with actin 5 pre-existing actin filament to the side of the, like this. And then what happens here is the WASP. WASP is ARP3 activated. So it's kind of a combination of ARP3 and WASP. If you have ARP23 but without WASP, it's not stimulating polymerization. If you have If you have one super without LP23, nothing happens. So it's kind of helping each other, right? You have to have both of them. Then, all story short, you see that this is WASP, and then you have optin-3 complex. They're helping together. Particularly WASP is known to interact with actin and adding that actin toward the existing LP3 complex or LP3 structure proteins. So that's how. So I would say again here, right there. Formin is an actin nucleator, and ARP3 is also actin nucleator. So we covered so far two actin nucleators, 1 and 2. Two actin nucleators. ARP. So now I think we have again 1 minute video here. It'll show ARP3 complex. Indeed, ARP3 complex are complex consisting of 7 subunits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're all called ARP, actin related protein 2, 3, C3, C1, C4, C5. Right, 7 of them. And they are associated. They could be inactive, conformation they can hold, or they could be active conformation they can hold. And as a complex, they are able to interact the WASP right here, WASP, and then interact with ARP3. Inactive form configuration is changing into active configuration, and they're able to interact with the side of the pre-existing actin filament. See conformation change now. And then WASP will be dissociated. Its job done. Now daughter filaments are formed. And interestingly, the angle is 70 degrees. That's very interesting. And then there are not only one molecular complex ARP3, but many ARP3 complexes will be associated with the side. And what happened here is that really quickly making network system, a branched network of actin filaments, so you are able to make lamellopore. Right? So that's how this actin nuclear system works. So altogether, so far I talk about many proteins participated in vivo cell actin polymerization and depolymerization. I included production of protrusive fiber and production including filopodia and amelopodia, and particularly they point out here in the textbook, the amelopodia portion, you have a cell membrane underneath, you have a polymerizing actin filament, and one filament right there that can be capped by actin capping protein. After which what happens is undergo depolymerization, right? You can think of it. So you can control the length of actin filament. And then here see branch network, you have an ARP3 complex, and you see a little bit of angle, 70-degree angle. These two filaments can be connected not only by ARP3, but also the protein we call filament. You remember filament, they are V-shaped. They can control the angle like this or a little bit more acute. And what is this called? This is an acute angle and obtuse angle. Yeah. So like they can control like that. And here you have what kind of protein? Covalent recognizing ADP bound actin cutting. Now ADP G actin is released, covalent and interacting, replacing ADP with ATP. So everything now considered. And I also talk about gelsolid, something else right there. It's very important. Gelsolid is also involved in cutting actin filament. So all proteins, I think we talk about capping protein, gelsolid, and then covalent, provalent, what else? ARP23 complex, formin. All put together, you can just generate a model like this. But anyway, at any given moment, cell biological membranes are fluctuating at given certain temperature, like 37 degree optimal temperature, fluctuating, through which you generate a small gap between filament and membrane, so through which actin monomers gets in. As a result, this membrane is basically shooting some kind of structure like filopodia structure. So that's how you interpreting or like a comprehensively thinking about all those factors together for polymerization and depolymerization. So scientists, while they're working with the mammalian system, particularly actin structure polymerization and depolymerization, and they developed microscope, particularly live microscope, and realized that there are a lot of moving objects inside of a mammalian system cell. And they actually found out that these human actin systems are actually hijacked or exploited by certain species of bacteria. So the certain bacterial species utilize our own actin system for their survival and for their playing around. So this is what I'm going to talk about now. Right there. The bacteria we call Listeria bacteria, full name Listeria monocytogenes. This is actually a still picture. Previous one was a movie, right? This is a still picture, fluorescent. Mammalian cell, membrane bound, and you see a lot of bacteria that are connected by actin filaments. We call actin tail, or we call comet tail. You know comet tail? So those comet tails are found right behind a moving bacterial object. So what happened here is that if this bacteria is right there, let's say, pretend that this is bacteria. Now actin tails are connected here. So particularly here, right there, at the tail part of the bacteria, there's a positive end of actin filament is located. So that there's a lot of polymerization occur here, right there. And so push this bacteria really forward. So here we have, again, the scientists found out that the network branched actin filaments are found, so that you can think about octafree complex and 70-degree angle. You have a lot of other regulatory actin binding protein, filament binding proteins are existing here, controlling polymerization here and then depolymerization. So it has to be well coordinated. If you're only stimulating only polymerization, well, you just basically emptying your own monomer pools. That's terrible. So you have to somehow stimulate also depolymerization at the end of it, right there, at the end of the point. So these two guys are choreographically coordinated. Otherwise, they don't move. That's a problem. So now one thing that I want to introduce you. One more protein serves as actin nucleator. Actually, it's actually gluten. ACTA is involving nucleation in bacteria. This is a bacterial protein that is implicated in actin polymerization. That's why they indicated right there, Listeria actae. Actae is bacterial protein, and it's like a wasp-like protein. I just jot down right there, actae wasp-like protein, but it's bacterial protein. Otherwise, I think you have all those details. So it's structural details. Don't worry too much about it. It's like a wasp-like. See, this is actin, this is bacteria. So they are going to actin monomers right there. They bind actin and attach that actin monomer onto growing end, right? Onto growing end of actin filament, so that filament growth is regular, positively regular. And then, see, this is positive end right there. And then the moving cells, the bacterial cells moving there. I just feel like the diagram is not properly drawn. It's because this is bobbed end, and this is a negative end. It has to be put in. Okay, bobbed end should be located there, negative end. But you just want to know where it's possible. And now, not only bacteria exploiting our actin system for their motility, but also our intrinsic membrane-bound organelles such as endocytic vesicles. And the endocytic vesicles that are actually bound by actin filamental network. Exact same components that regulate actin dynamics for Listeria movement are actually recruiting for endocytic vesicle movement. So you can say same protein set. AR3 complex, WASP, some more, and some more. Exact same. Endocytic vesicle, now how about exocytic vesicles? Yes. Endocytic exocytic, a lot of trafficking vesicle, we call transport vesicle, they are moving, shuttling between, membrane-bound organelles. They are also using actin network-bound vesicle. So these are, again, you see actin chromatin. In this case, the label actin with a green dye. And then your endocytic vesicle or exocytic vesicles are labeled with red. Okay? So then chromatins are formed. So you get some examples of actin polymerization for cellular processes or biological processes. So one more example where the actin polymerization and depolymerization is required is here. It's actually in the realm of immunology because we're talking about immune system cell that actually uptaking foreign germ, such as bacteria, right there here, that are recognized by our immune system proteins such as antibodies. So antibodies, they latch on to foreign germ cell, and then what happens here is that we call that situation opsonized bacteria. Opsonization means bacteria is covered by a group of antibodies. We call opsonization. Opsonization. So opsonism, these bacteria now covered by antibodies are actually recognized by our receptor protein. What cell here talking about? Leukocyte, but I think you know macrophage, right? Macrophage. Yeah, we can pick up macrophage. And then I think this is very famous story, right? You heard of many 121, 235, power 310 courses, even high school. Your teacher taught you, hey, we have a white blood cell, like macrophages. They, when they encounter with bacterial cells, they generate force food, right? They call it pseudopod. They generate pseudopod and then grab the foreign germ and then just engulf it. Now you know it. Well, this pseudopod, they're full of actin network system. Polymerization has been done. It's like a spike-like structure. It's almost like a pillar like structure. So the same concept is applied here. So that now I have grab it. These two parts are fused together. As a result, we generate phagosome. They will be eventually targeted to what? Cellular stoma, which is lysosome. Very acidic storage place where you have a total huge amount of hydrolytic enzymes that are breaking down these guys. So in this case, you have to say, oh yeah, our antibodies are wasted here. But it's inevitable. Okay, antibodies are wasted. But you can make more. You have tons of clones of white blood cells generating these antibodies. It's not a big problem. We have billions of antibodies, more than those in our body. Should be good. So these are another examples. So many examples. So I would say the ARP3 complex is one of the versatile enzymes I told you implicated not only lamellipodia production, so I would say lamellipodia, what else? Endocytosis, pathogen motility, and what else here right there? Phagocytosis. This guy is like especially useful. ARP3 complex. Now we're going to shift our gear into some other roles that are performed by actin filaments. So far we're talking about polymerization of actin around the leading edge so that they're directing movement of cell forward. Now we're going to talk about two other roles of actin that we have not discussed. What is that? One, actin system can serve as a highway system for the delivery of membrane-bound vesicles, or I would say cellular material from one side to the other side. Okay, you see that? We call actin highway system. And second, actin, along with the myosin, they generate stress fiber. These two. So highway system and stress fiber, both of them are essentially required for the cell motility also, right? And internal motility of the certain material. We call intracellular. Intra means inside. Intracellular trafficking of vesicles, and here contraction. That is part of your 4-step movement, right? So when you're considering these highway system and stress fiber thing, the common denominator for these two processes in the structure is that it involves another protein. What is that? Another protein. Myosin. Whenever people talking about actin, they're always thinking about myosin. When you do weightlifting kind of stuff, you're always thinking about actin filament and myosin filament slide past each other and force contraction. You know this. You say that, oh, that means you know it. Actin and myosin always go together, almost all time, go together, right? That's what I'm going to talk about. Myosin. So, particularly in the highway system, you see the vesicles are moving around. Actually, these vesicles are carried by what? Like a motor protein. Myosin motor protein carrying that and one hollow. Not only that, here, right there, they interact with actin and slide past each other. So, actin and myosin system. So, myosin system we talk about. So this is I want to actually give you a little bit of energy right there because we spent almost 40 minutes. Energy. Myosin motor. Go. Yeah.
Oh, I love it so much.
Right now, at this moment, these guys are working for you. Myosin. Okay. There are a lot of, the myosin family proteins existing in your cell. Actually, this is a summary of not all of them, but just the table that show classical and exemplary myosins. Here, if you're looking at it here, right there, I think I make a box here right there. Type 2, you call myosin 2. Myosin 2 is classical myosin, means it was found first, classical. And then it consists of 2 chains we call heavy chain with a head and neck and tail. So you have two heavy chains. And then you have a 1, 2, 3, 4 light chains. It's like a ring-like structure. Okay, so these rings, light chains, are actually surrounding the heavy chain neck portion. So you can think of a necklace. Light chain serves as a necklace. So you have a type 2, we call it classical, or conventional, or canonical. They're basically all same thing. Right? Classical, conventional, canonical in a myosin. And then you see 1, 5, 6, 10, and 11. Those are all considered to be non-canonical or non-classical, or one more word, non-conventional. Yeah. But the structural, if you're looking at structural domains, they're very similar. You see the right pale blue head, they are actin binding site. They bind that. These guys bind actin. But actually, we not call it this as a tail, but we call it head though. Head interact with the actin. So normally in human analogy, right, we walk using our legs and feet like this. But here in myosin motor protein, they're using the head. So you think of opposite. They're using head and walk along actin. So we have many types of actins. So here the diagram shows that canonical versus non-canonical. So canonical classic myosin here is the best example is in myo2. Myo2, it's very specialized proteins that are actually they are self-assembled, and they are making thick filament that are positioning at your sarcomere to interact with actin filaments to control contraction and relaxation. So this is we call, you see the myosin head of these bar structure are projected toward the end, both ends. So we call bipolar filament. So whenever you talk about myosin filament in your sarcomere, you're talking about bipolar filament. Okay? But if you're looking at non-conventional, like myosin 1 and myosin 5, now you can see these are tail, right? Tail. The top guys are head. Tail parts, they are able to associate it with membrane. So you can think about, myosin 1 can be associated with the plasma membrane. But, and some myosin, 5, 10, and 11, they can interact with some other membrane-bound organelles, such as ER, Golgi body, exocytic vesicles, and those membrane-bound vesicles, they interact. Myosin 2, they don't. Because they self-assemble, they should serve as contractile machinery. So they don't. But this guy, non-conventional, fine. Yes. So these are all myosin. No matter what kind of myosin you're talking about, conventional or non-conventional, or what kind of myosin, 1 through 10, 11, 12, all myosins, they are able to interact with the actin filament, and then pull actin filament and pass them. So it's like associated, pull past them, and then dissociated, attach them, pull them, pass them, like this. But scientists found out that myosin, no matter what kind of myosin you're talking about, all myosins are moving, or say walk toward positive end. So we call it myosin as positive and directed motor. So look at this. If this is actin filament, pretend that this is a positive end. So myosin interact here, right there, interact, positive end, right there, interact, and then pull, and then dissociate it, attach, pull. You see that? What happened with that? Actin filament undergo movement. This is what it is. If this is positive end, myosin bind here, pull this way, right? Pull, see that? Where is number 1? Pull this down. So you know, by looking at the motion of here, you know that, this is positive and this is negative, right? This is what the diagram is, right? Head bind, and pull. Positive end, all myosins are positive. Using what highway system? Actin. Why I'm saying this now, positive and directed motor. When you visit chapter 18, we talk about negative and directed motor that walk along microtubule, so you can be easily confused. That's why I'm saying that. Positive end. Okay. So this is the electron microscopic image of myosin, right there. Myosin 11. X1 means 11. See that we have heavy chains, we have a head and neck, and then you have tail, and you have 2 small globules that may have the tail that interact with the membrane. See, or no. So you see a lot of diagrams you see in the textbook is based on the electron microscopic image or some other crystal structures. So I think they diagram very well in B schematic diagram showing head, globula right there, and then you have a neck region, but they do not show light chains. Right? Because under the limit of electron microscopic image. But you know that previous slide, here we have 11, we have how many light chain rings? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 12 rings there. See that? Well, I think they 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 14 of them, so it's not called a schematic error. Anyway, they move in positive end. And here, myosin 11, not only animal but plant. So it's like whether you're talking about plant. In general, eukaryotic system. Higher eukaryotic system, they have all non-conventional myosin that have shared, basically plant and animals. Here the best example they show. 11, they interact with the ER right there. See the human-like structure right there? That's a motor protein. This is the amplification of it. So myosin 11, they interact with the organelle, the tail and head part. They interact with the actin filaments and then walk along. And some other, this is plant version, right? Plant, myosin 11. And then you have a yeast. This is one of the lowest eukaryotic systems. It has myosin 5, unconventional or non-conventional myosin. See that in yeast, myosin 5 is very universal guy. You know what I mean by universal? Not only they deliver in membrane-bound organelle like TGN, vacuole, ER, and secretory vesicles, peroxisome, but also look at this. This myosin 5, they can deliver messenger RNA too. So this guy interact with RNA. And then one more thing, you look at this. This versatile guy, not only they walk along your actin filament and other system, they are able to interact with the microtubule, which is connected to the nucleus. So they can pull nucleus, the biggest organelle, except the plasma membrane. But I'm saying not only just single molecular myosin motors, but many myosin motors work together. It's like a team of, tug of war, right? With many people participating in it. Yeah, that kind of thing. So realistically. How many proteins don't I see? I do not know. So we talk about many cases of conventional and non-conventional. From now on, I talk about a little bit more conventional side of myosin, the myosin 2. How they slide past each other.